I'm Jed Dowling. I'm the CEO of Dublin LGBTQ Pride and the Festival Director for our annual festival and parade.
I'm Chris Gebhardt. I'm the Communications Officer of Dublin Pride.
Dublin Pride is the Dublin branch of one of the world's largest human rights organisations, so we're part of the international Pride movement. The Pride movement was kind of, I suppose, generally accepted as being founded in 1969, although in reality it had existed in different formats for quite a few years before then. And our function is to advocate for and celebrate the lives of LGBTQI+ people.
We work all year round. We do Pride at Work, we do community outreach and support. We have an education program for workplaces as well. And we have a second season Winter Pride because LGBTQ communities need our support all year round and not just in June.
The biggest event we're known for is the Dublin Pride Parade, which is the second biggest event in the country and probably one of the most coordinated events. St. Patrick's Day Parade has maybe 6,000 or 7,000 people in the parade and everyone is standing watching it. And while it's a bigger event overall, there are fewer people taking part, whereas the Dublin Pride Parade is open to everybody. That's one of our things that we've always maintained, is it will always be free to attend and it will always be open to everybody to march in. So it takes an entire year and longer. Before we were planning our virtual event this year, we had already started planning for Pride Parade 2022.
So this was actually my first parade and it was virtual, so my perception might be a bit warped, but yeah, I'm also very much looking forward to actually experiencing a full-scale in-person Pride Parade next year. We had a Pride hub on Duke Street, so just off Grafton Street, and we had really good footfall, we had good responses, and just having, again, a space for queer people to come in, to socialise, to have a chat and a coffee has definitely been great.
Culture, or queer culture, is phenomenally important to our community. One of the ways you oppress a people is by taking away their culture. And if you look at the history, if you go back to Cuchulainn and Ferdia, who were lovers, you look at the lover poets of Ireland, you look back at our culture, in the same way that our Irish culture was erased, our LGBT and our queer culture was erased. So reclaiming our culture is a hugely important function of Pride, because it's our culture that empowers us, and when you take away a person's culture, they become oppressed. So that will always be at the front of what we're doing. Is we are a cultural festival as well. So within the events that we would run, if we look at this Pride, for example, we had our virtual parade and concert, but we also did a series of outdoor events where we had kids in Fatima Mansions doing dance routines and baton twirling. We had senior citizens in a community centre doing various poetry pieces. We had Luke Thomas bringing all sorts of people across Dublin dancing in the streets at 5 in the morning while we were recording it. So we have lots of things there. We run a series of exhibitions. We have a great exhibition up in the Stephen's Green Centre that we ran during the summer, where we brought out some of the Dice Man's old costumes. Tom McGinty, who's both a Dublin icon and a queer icon. This is something we do as much as we can each year, whether it's celebration of dance, of history, of culture, but not just over the summer. When we get into winter, we have them again, because we run our Winter Pride Festival, where the last one we had in person, we had a Pride concert in the National Concert Hall. We had a mini festival within a festival celebrating the life of Oscar Wilde and learning lessons from there.
Our movement is essentially, it's inherently cultural, and that's why we also had different themes for this past Pride Festival, and one of them was arts, culture and heritage. And yeah, we work together with museums to put on exhibitions. We're trying to support artists as well, because there's a lot of artists in our community as well that don't receive the attention that they deserve, or that don't kind of receive the funding that they deserve, because their art might be just too queer, as in too political in that way. So I suppose we're happy to support that kind of art specifically as well.
The defining thing about queer culture is that it is rebellious and defiant. It goes against the norm. I think the ultimate symbol of queer culture, I would say, would be the statue of Hibernia on the top of the GPO. Everything about the design of that statue went against the norm. A strong, empowered woman standing out there. And that's the thing that queer culture is. It's rebellious, it's it dissents against what you've been told is normal?
I suppose it's inherently against the norm or against the grain, I suppose, and it's about kind of like questioning, I think, as well, not just exclusively like rebelling, but also questioning and asking questions that straight culture might not ask, because they benefit from a system that is inherently oppressive, and it's about kind of like asking and demanding a right to be seen and a right to be heard.